Hi, I'm Ian Thompson, and this is one of a series of investing videos. And if you're interested in property investing, then this video could be for you. Because what this video answers is the question, how can I get started in property investing? And one of the things I'm going to show you in this video is one way you can use property investing to become a millionaire in under 9 years.
Most property investors buy a house, rent it out, and wait. And the rent doesn't quite cover the mortgage, and they've had to put a pretty big deposit in to start off with, and so therefore for most property investors all they ever actually get around to doing is buying one or two houses. But hey, if they wait long enough, then it can provide them with a comfortable retirement if they sell one of the houses then. But maybe you're looking for something a bit faster than that, and certainly something a bit faster is entirely feasible. There are some property investors out there that are very wealthy and own hundreds of properties, so there are other ways of doing things. If you want to do that, then step one in the process is actually to start off with being crystal clear on what your goal is. So what are you trying to achieve? Is it capital growth? Is it monthly income? A bit of both? Are you trying to minimize the amount of time that you put into it? Are you looking for property that you can get into with hardly any money down? So all sorts of different things that you might be looking for from your property investing. So get crystal clear on what that is, and then start looking at the different strategies out there. And there are loads and loads of different ways that you can invest in property. Obviously there's the ordinary residential rentals, but then there's flipping and wrapping and rezoning and renovations. And even when you look at each of these different strategies, there are a number of ways that you can interpret those even further. Take renovations, for instance. If you're renovating, why are you renovating? Is it to refinance, or is it to sell it? Is it to rent it out to someone? And if it's to rent it out, who are you trying to rent it out to? Is it families? Is it uni students, and so on? So there are many different strategies, and what's really important is to start off with clear about exactly what your goals are, and then go out and find the strategy that's going to be best for you. Okay, so now look, what I wanted to do now is really effectively split this video into two. Part one of the video, which I'm going to go through right now, I wanted to talk to you about one simple strategy that you might choose to follow that will give you the opportunity to create $1 million in property in under 9 years. And in a second video I'll talk to you later about a way that you can get monthly cash flow out of property quickly. So two strategies that I've just chosen to run through fairly quickly. So let's get in with part one of this video, which is how to create $1 million in 9 years. And look, this is not by starting off with a huge sum of money. We're only talking about maybe having to put $20,000 into it in the first place. And maybe if you already own your own home, you might have equity in your home, so you could use that, and therefore you might be able to achieve this $1 million without any of your own cash. Anyway, we'll see. So in order to do this strategy, the starting point is to actually go and find a property to buy. Now I'm suggesting here an apartment, and a mid-priced apartment, so let's say $300,000, and you're looking to buy one where you're going to buy it off the plan with a year or more before completion. And in some parts, such as Australia for instance, you can buy property with deposit bonds, and that means that you can secure the property for a very small amount of money. In other places you might need to put down a full 10% or something deposit, but if you can, use something like a deposit bond so you can secure the property with minimum outlay. There will of course be other fees and taxes on top of that, but most of those will usually be not needed until you actually come to settle on the property at the end of that year's wait. So let's come on to year one, where at this point you need to arrange a home loan. You need to complete the purchase. Now what I'm assuming here is the property price has actually gone up by 10%. Now I know I'm speaking to you where I've actually just heard the property price results for the third quarter of 2008. They've just come out for Australia, and nearly all of the capital cities have gone down for the quarter. So it may seem a little hard to remember property prices increase, but but they will. The fundamentals are sound at the moment. With a housing shortage and strong rents, it may be sooner than some people are predicting. And anyway, look, in order to keep things simple, I'm going to assume that property prices increase at 10% per annum. And in Australia, I know that certainly hasn't been the case for 2008, except for in Adelaide. But it is the average over time. So it also happens to keep the sums very simple for the example. So let's go through this. So at that time, the value of the property will have gone up by 10% to $330,000. So you'll get a loan for that, which happens to work out at almost the price that you're buying the property for. So the amount of funds you need to put in is comparatively small, plus the costs that you've got to put in. And at that point, you simply rent the property out. And again, I'm going to make a simple assumption here that the rent is going to cover the mortgage. Now, I know that's not always the case for every type of property, but that's part of the reason why I'm suggesting an apartment that would be centrally located in a good place in one of the capital cities, because they tend to be the more popular apartments. If it's a low-rise apartment, a nice apartment, then with the market as it is at the moment, the rent can cover the mortgage. Okay, so that's it for 1 year out. By the end of year 2, the value will have increased again, this time to $363,000. And at that point, what this strategy involves is securing 2 more properties in the same way as you did the first one. And let's say the prices are now $350,000 for these. And again, you're going to be buying these off the plan, and I'm going to suggest with maybe 18 months to completion. You're not in a hurry to start owning the property, and you can use your equity in your first property to start covering the costs. And therefore, a year later, your first property is now worth $393,000, and you're settling on the second and the third properties. And the value of those will have gone up as well. Now they're worth $385,000. So you do a complete refinance, and you can see the sum there, which involves all the costs of buying the new properties, the costs of them, plus the refinance of your original loan, and you still end up with equity in your property of $126,000. So that's it for year 3. In year 4, basically, you just sit and watch while property values increase, and you keep doing that through the various years. You'll find that your rents increase as well, which is an added bonus. And by the time you get on to year 9, your equity has gone up, so you now have over $1 million equity in your property portfolio just from those three investment properties. So look, that's one very simple strategy to become a millionaire, starting with really very little and achieving it in only 9 years. And I'll go through the income creating strategy another time. But look, if you were to follow this simple strategy, then maybe you could become a millionaire too. So check it out for yourself, and check out the property market around where you are, and decide whether it's the right market and the right time for you now or not. If you enjoyed this information and would like to receive all 20 free videos of the top questions people ask most about investing, and a copy of What I Didn't Learn at School But Wish I Had, visit www.21stcenturyinvesting.com.